The door creaked open, and David froze with his suitcase still in his hand. He had imagined this moment for 6 long months. He imagined his mother running to hug him, imagined Vanessa jumping into his arms, imagined his children screaming, "Daddy's home." But what greeted him instead was a sound that didn't belong in his house. A sharp, cruel voice cutting through the living room like a whip. "You missed a spot. Are your eyes even open? Scrub it again, or you won't eat tonight." David's blood turned cold. He stepped quietly past the hallway, gripping the door frame, and what he saw next shattered something inside his chest. His mother, Mama Ruth, was on her knees in the middle of the living room floor, an old rag in her trembling hands, her back bent low, her fingers swollen and cracked. Sweat dripped from her forehead onto the tiles she was scrubbing. And there, seated comfortably on the couch with a tall glass of chilled juice in her hand, legs crossed like a queen on her throne, was his wife. "Vanessa." "I said scrub it again." Vanessa barked, not even looking up from her phone. Mama Ruth's voice trembled. "I'm trying, my daughter. My hands, they hurt so much today." "I don't care about your hands. This is not a charity home. If you want to eat in this house, you work in this house." David's chest tightened. He wanted to scream, but his voice caught in his throat. Then he watched, frozen, as Vanessa stood up, walked over to his mother, and slapped her hard across the face. The sound echoed through the house like a gunshot. Mama Ruth gasped, her hand flying to her cheek, tears spilling down her wrinkled face. "Please, please, I'm sorry." David's fists clenched so tightly his knuckles turned white. Every instinct in his body screamed at him to charge into that room. But something told him to wait. Something told him this was only the surface of a much deeper wound. He stepped back into the shadow of the hallway, his heart pounding, his mind spinning back to how it had all begun. David had lost his father when he was only 7 years old. His mother, Mama Ruth, never remarried. She sold food by the roadside from morning till night, took in laundry from neighbors, and worked as a cleaner in 3 different houses just so David could go to school. She denied herself new clothes so David could have books. She skipped meals so David could eat twice a day. She sacrificed her entire youth so that her only son could have a future. And David never forgot it. He grew up determined to give his mother the life she deserved. He studied hard, worked harder, and eventually built a successful career as an engineer. When he married Vanessa 5 years ago, everyone said it was a fairy tale. Vanessa was beautiful, charming, and endlessly sweet in public. She hugged Mama Ruth at the wedding and whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You raised the most wonderful man. I promise to take care of you like my own mother." Everyone believed her. David believed her most of all. 6 months ago, David was offered a lucrative offshore contract, the kind of opportunity that could change their family's financial future forever. It meant leaving the country, leaving his mother, leaving Vanessa and the children. He hesitated. "I don't know, Vanessa," he had said, pacing their bedroom the night before he left. 6 months is a long time. Who will take care of Mum?" Vanessa had wrapped her arms around him, resting her head on his chest. "David, I am here. She's my mother too. Go and provide for this family. I will take care of everything. I promise you, when you return, you will meet perfect peace in this house." David had looked into her eyes and seen nothing but warmth. "Take care of Mum until I return," he had whispered. "She's my mother too," Vanessa had replied, smiling. He left with a peaceful heart, sending money home every single month, more than enough for comfort, more than enough for luxury. But the moment his flight took off, everything changed. The very first week, Vanessa moved Mama Ruth out of the guest room she had always used and into the smallest room in the house, a cramped space beside the kitchen that used to be a storeroom. She took away the old woman's favorite armchair, her reading lamp, even the small fan that kept her cool at night. "You don't need all this," Vanessa told her flatly. "This is my house now." Then the demands began. Mama Ruth had to wake up before dawn to prepare breakfast. She had to wash clothes by hand even though there was a washing machine sitting and used in the laundry room. She had to iron uniforms for the children, scrub bathrooms until they gleamed, mop every floor in the house, and cook 3 meals a day, all while her arthritis screamed in protest with every movement. Meanwhile, Vanessa spent her days at the salon, at the mall, at expensive lunches with her friends, spending David's hard-earned money without a second thought. Whenever friends came over, Vanessa would gesture toward Mama Ruth with a dismissive wave. "Oh, don't mind her. That's just our house help. Very reliable, though a little slow these days." Mama Ruth would lower her eyes and say nothing, swallowing the humiliation like bitter medicine. At night, when the house was finally silent, she would sit on the edge of her small bed and cry quietly into her pillow so no one would hear. She thought of her son and whispered to herself, "My David does not know. If he knew, this would break his heart. I will endure it. I have endured worse." David called every week, sometimes twice. "How is Mum?" he would ask. "She's resting," Vanessa would say sweetly. "She went to church this morning. She's a little tired now. Let me speak to her." "She's already asleep, David. You know how early she sleeps these days." Something about it felt strange to David, a small nagging discomfort he couldn't quite explain. His mother rarely slept early. She was always the last one awake in the house, humming old songs to herself. But he pushed the thought away. He trusted his wife completely. Why would she lie to him? Vanessa, meanwhile, grew bolder. She told relatives that Mama Ruth was getting forgetful these days and struggling to remember things, planting seeds of doubt that would protect her if anyone ever questioned the old woman's treatment. She bought a new car. She renovated her walk-in closet. She wasted thousands of dollars David had sent home for his mother's comfort and his children's future. No one suspected a thing. Not the neighbors who occasionally saw Mama Ruth carrying heavy buckets of water and assumed she simply liked to keep busy. Not the relatives who received polite, cheerful phone calls from Vanessa. Not even David, 6,000 miles away, who believed with all his heart that his family was thriving. Then, 2 weeks before his contract was supposed to end, David received unexpected news. The project had wrapped up early. He could go home. He didn't tell anyone. He wanted to surprise them. He pictured his mother's face lighting up, his children screaming with joy, Vanessa running into his arms. He bought gifts on his way to the airport, toys for the children, a designer bag for Vanessa, and a soft, beautiful shawl for his mother, the kind she had always admired but never allowed herself to buy. He landed at night, exhausted but smiling, his heart racing with anticipation. He took a taxi straight home, letting himself imagine the reunion over and over. When he arrived, the porch light was off, but he could hear voices inside. He quietly turned the key in the door, wanting to surprise them, wanting to savor every second of walking back into his home. But instead of laughter, he heard shouting. He stood frozen in the doorway, watching the scene unfold in front of him, his mother on her knees, scrubbing, trembling, weeping. His wife slapping her without hesitation, without mercy. David didn't move. He didn't breathe. Something inside him told him to wait, to watch, to understand the full truth before reacting. With shaking hands, he pulled out his phone and quietly began recording. "Faster!" Vanessa snapped, kicking the bucket of dirty water so it splashed across the floor and onto Mama Ruth's frail legs. "Look what you've done. Clean it up before I lose my temper completely." I'm sorry, Mama Ruth sobbed, scrambling to wipe the water with her bare hands. "Please, my daughter, have mercy. My body cannot take this anymore." "Mercy?" Vanessa laughed coldly. "You should be grateful I let you stay under this roof at all. Do you think you deserve anything more? You are nothing but a burden this family carries." David's vision blurred with rage and heartbreak. His mother, the woman who had sacrificed her entire life for him, was being treated worse than a stranger, worse than an animal, in his own home. He could no longer stay hidden. He stepped into the light. Enough. The single word cut through the room like thunder. Vanessa spun around, her face draining of color the instant she saw him standing there, suitcase still in hand, phone still recording. "David. David, my love, when did you?" "I've been standing here long enough," David said, his voice trembling with barely controlled fury. "Long enough to see everything. Mama Ruth looked up at her son, and for a moment, shame flooded her tear-streaked face. David, please, it's not what it looks like. Don't be angry with her. She's just tired from. Mom, please. David rushed to her side, gently helping her rise from the wet floor. His hands shook as he touched hers, feeling the swollen joints, the calluses, the bruises hidden beneath her sleeves. Don't defend her. Not anymore. He turned to Vanessa, his eyes burning with a pain she had never seen in him before. How long, Vanessa? How long have you been doing this to my mother? David, listen to me. It's not like that at all. I was just. Don't lie to me. His voice cracked, raw with betrayal. I trusted you. I left my mother in your hands because I believed you loved her like your own. I called every week and you told me she was resting, she was at church, she was sleeping. Every single time, you lied straight into my face. Vanessa's composure finally shattered. What did you expect me to do, David? Play nanny to an old woman while you were off enjoying yourself overseas? Someone had to run this house. Run this house. David's laugh was bitter, hollow. You had a washing machine sitting unused while you forced my sick mother to wash clothes by hand. You spent my money on cars and clothes while she went without a fan in her room. You called her our house help to your friends. The commotion had grown loud enough that neighbors began gathering outside the gate, drawn by the shouting. One of them, an older woman named Comfort who lived 2 houses down, stepped forward hesitantly. David, she said gently, forgive me for intruding, but we have seen things. Many times, we saw Mama Ruth outside fetching water alone, looking so tired, so thin. We wanted to say something, but it wasn't our place. Another neighbor nodded. She used to hum songs while she worked, but these past months, she stopped humming altogether. We should have said something sooner. David closed his eyes, guilt and grief crashing over him in waves. He turned to his mother. Why didn't you tell me, Mum? Why did you suffer in silence? Mama Ruth's lips trembled as fresh tears fell. Because I did not want to break your marriage, my son. I did not want to be the reason for your unhappiness. I have carried heavier burdens before. I thought I could carry this one too, until you came home safely. David pulled his mother into his arms, holding her gently as if she might break, his own tears finally spilling over. You should never have had to carry this alone. Never again. Later that night, after the neighbors had gone and the children were asleep, David sat across from Vanessa in the dim living room, the recorded footage playing silently between them on his phone as undeniable proof. He found receipts stuffed carelessly in her purse, thousands of dollars spent on things that had nothing to do with the family, money he had sent home believing it would give his mother comfort. I don't even recognize you anymore, David said quietly, exhaustion and heartbreak weighing down every word. The woman I married promised to love my mother as her own. Instead, you turned her into a servant in her own son's house. Vanessa reached for his hand, desperation flashing across her face. David, please, we can fix this. I'll change, I promise. He pulled his hand away gently but firmly. Trust, once broken this way, cannot simply be rebuilt with promises, Vanessa. I gave you my family. I gave you my mother's well-being. And you trampled on both. In the weeks that followed, David ensured his mother received proper medical care for her swollen joints and exhaustion. He moved her into the best room in the house, the one with the morning sunlight she loved so much, filled with comfort and warmth she had been denied for months. Vanessa was held accountable for what she had done, and their marriage, built on a foundation David now realized had been hollow all along, came to its painful end. Slowly, gently, Mama Ruth began to heal. The light returned to her eyes. She started humming again while she sat in her armchair by the window, no longer forced to scrub floors with broken hands, no longer forced to swallow her pain in silence. One quiet morning, weeks later, David stood in the kitchen making breakfast, something he had never done before in his life, determined to give his mother even the smallest comforts she had sacrificed for him 1,000 times over. Mama Ruth watched him from the doorway, wrapped in the soft shawl he had bought her, a small smile finally returning to her tired face. You didn't have to do all this for me, my son, she said softly. I should have done it a long time ago, David replied, placing a warm plate in front of her. She reached for his hand, her eyes glistening. I prayed every single day that you would come home safely. I never once prayed for revenge, David. I only wanted to see your face again. David knelt beside her chair, holding her frail hand in his. You spent your entire life taking care of me, Mom. Sacrificing everything so I could have a future. Now, it's my turn to take care of you. And I promise you, for the rest of your days, you will never kneel on a cold floor again. Mama Ruth's tears fell freely now, but for the first time in months, they were tears of relief, not sorrow. The people who sacrifice everything for us should never be repaid with humiliation. Love is not proven through empty words spoken in public, it is shown through how we treat those who can offer us nothing in return. Somewhere, a mother is suffering in silence, believing her pain will protect her family's peace. May every son and daughter watching remember to look closer, to ask deeper, and to never let the ones who gave everything be treated like they are nothing at all.